All right. Hello, everyone. I thought I'd pop in with all the Tiger teams and give you a quick update about grades and PowerSchool this year. So, a few things have changed. So, let's jump in really quickly. Hopefully, by now, you guys have been getting used to checking out the weekly curriculum updates. They look kind of like this. There might be a little bit of a variance depending upon whose class you're looking at, but it gives you an idea of what you're in charge of for the week. Now, this is really going to be helpful to keep you on track, but when you are ready to check in on how well you're progressing with grades, you're going to go over to PowerSchool. PowerSchool is going to be your one-stop shop for really what is making your grade your grade. It'll also be helpful to make sure that you are up to date with missing assignments and other things like that. So, when you go over there, you go into a class by choosing the score that you have for that class. All right, so for this math student, they would choose the 100 that they have so far. Good job, miscellaneous person. We're in quarter one, which is the Q1 column. If you want to check out at the end, we also have the F1, which means your cumulative grade so far for the year. Okay, when you click directly on that number, it'll bring up your assignments that you have going for them so far. It'll let you know what category your assignment was, what the name of the assignment was, and then there'll be some flags. Hopefully, there won't be any flags, but if there are, then a flag tells you if you have maybe missed it in some way, if it's late or if it's missing. So make sure you keep an eye open for those flags. All right, and then one other thing to keep in mind is if there's comments or details, then there's an option to check that out. All right, it's your job to keep track of how you're doing in PowerSchool and to reach out to your teachers if you have any questions. So something kind of interesting this year is we have a new grading category policy. So there's three types of categories we're going to grade you on this year. The first one is prepare, and it's worth 20% of your grade. These are going to be your smaller assignments, maybe things like warm-ups, exit tickets, little checks for understandings. All right, there's a little bit meatier of an assignment called rehearse. These are going to be things maybe like quizzes or labs, some kind of mini projects. Some other classwork that you might be doing. All right, these are going to help you get your feedback you need to help you master your standards that you're trying to learn. And then the last piece, the big head honcho kind of assessment, is called a perform assessment. And these perform assessments are going to be 50% of your grade. They're going to be your large projects. They're going to be your assessments at the ends of units. All right, if you're an ELA, it's probably your mid and end unit stuff. All right, so keep that in mind that your performs are going to be those ones that you really need to fine tune your ideas and be ready to show mastery. All right, now all of your grades that will be in the gradebook this year are going to be based around a 100-point scale. So some teachers did that already last year. Some teachers did points based on whatever the individual activity was. All right. Now, we are back at school, and this is as real as we're going to get. So we're trying to get back to normal, which means we're going to keep track of your late and your missing assignments this time. All right. Last year, we were kind of lenient. Everything was a little wild, right? Not this year. You're going to have to follow a very strict protocol for your late and missing assignments. So for prepare and rehearse assignments, all right, there is a late and missing protocol for them. All right, you do have up to 5 days after the perform date to get those late ones turned in. So if you're working on prepare and rehearse for a specific perform activity, perform, remember, is going to be like the big one towards the end of the unit, then you have 5 school days to get any of those missing. All right, after 5 school days, though, we're not going to accept it. It's a 0. All right, so you have that window. So make sure you're keeping up with what you need to turn in. One other thing to keep in mind is for each week, or about 2 points per day, that your assignment goes late, we will deduce that from your score until you get to about a 50%. So make sure you are staying on top of your work. All right, missing and lates do count this year. So be very sure you know what's going on with that. All right, one of the last things to keep in mind is because those perform activities are so large, you do get an option to retake them one time this year. All right, it has to happen within 3 weeks. Your teachers will offer it to you before the 3-week mark, I'm sure. All right, so you can score up to a 100% on your one-time retake. And even if you scored well the first time, you can take it again Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you've mastered it the first time, but you didn't get a 100% and you want to, your teacher will let you know the directions for that particular assignment. All right. If you did not show mastery the first time, then you'll take a parallel or a similar assessment on the same concepts, but maybe delivered in a different fashion, form, or style. That's going to bring us up to this last piece. We want you to take a second to show us that you are on board with this. You don't really have a choice, but we want you to feel like you do, or at least that you know that you're in the loop and you know what's going on. So make sure you get your grading agreement turned in. The grading agreement is everything essentially that I just covered. A, you're going to stay up to date on your PowerSchool. B, you're going to respectfully communicate with your teachers if you have any questions about your grades or missing assignments. C, you're going to remain knowledgeable about our 3 new categories, prepare, rehearse, and perform. D, you're going to acknowledge that your work will follow a late and missing assignment protocol this year. And D, you're going to prepare yourself for a one-time retake opportunity if you want to show a better set of mastery for perform assessments. So don't forget to get this turned into your teacher. And I'm excited for a new year. I'm excited for some new categories. I'm excited for a very clear and concise late and missing, not just for teachers, obviously, but for all of you out there so that you can stay on track and you know what's exactly expected of you. So with these expectations, I think it'll make this year a really good year. All right, team. Adios, Tigers.